Alright folks, so here you have a stack of empty boxes, Franzia white wine and white Zinfandel, and this is about 3 months of empty boxes. Each box costs approximately $22 now. I remember when they used to be $12. Well, guess what? There's going to be no more buying Franzia, because I have a new hobby, and the new hobby is you're about to see. So here, my friends, is the new hobby. You heard of making water into wine? Well, we're gonna make grape juice into wine. 100% juice, cup and a half of sugar, and a quarter of a teaspoon of yeast. 30 days turns into some lovely wine. So I hear, so we're going to check it out. Alright folks, so here we have our first 3 contestants lined up. And what you do is, you take each of the 3 in the front row, you pour out 2 cups, and you pour the 6 cups total into the empty bottle on the left. So 3 turns into 4. You need to leave the blank headspace at the top of the bottle so you have room to put the sugar in, the yeast, and for it to have room to ferment. Okay, so since I don't have a tripod situation set up yet to show this as I do it, I'm just going to talk about it first, and then I'm going to do it for each step. Alright, so we'll continue. Alright, so we're back. So the first thing you have to do, I didn't say, before you open each bottle, you have to turn it upside down and get the sediment off the bottom. So you have to shake it up really, really, really good. Now, once you shake it up, you take your measuring cup, you pour out 2 cups from each of the 3 bottles, and you can use your funnel, and you pour them into the empty bottle, and now you have 4 bottles that has 6 cups in each bottle. Now the next step is to pour a cup and a half of sugar, and I have a separate funnel for that. So you have a wet funnel and a dry funnel. So, and just to show you, here it is. See, I don't lie. There's your second funnel. All right. So now you take the second funnel and you pour a cup and a half of sugar into each bottle, which then will rise the liquid level up, and you shake it up really, really, really good. Then you put your yeast in and you shake it up again. And then we'll talk about the next steps when I get finished that. So I'll be back after I put a cup and a half of sugar into each bottle. All right. So just to interject, here's Paul.
I'm gonna pour out 2 cups.
He's basically where I learned this from. And this ain't nothing new. This has been around for many, 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 many years. So listen up for a minute.
And a pint is 2 cups. So I pour out 1 pint. You see what I got left here. When I go back in and add my cup and a half of sugar, it's going to raise it up a little bit, but not much. And then I'm going to have my head space for when it starts working and foaming and bubbling and all that. There's room for it to do its action and not stop up my cap. Now, I use, when it comes to yeast, what I'm using is just plain old ordinary yeast that you buy in the packets next to the flour in the grocery store. Now, there's a 1/4 ounce in each one of these packets, or 7 grams. There is enough in here. There's almost 3 teaspoons in a packet. I use 1/4 teaspoon per quart, so we've got enough in one of these packets to make 3 gallons.
All right, so here we have 1.5 cups of sugar, or 12 ounces, and we're going to pour that into the first bottle, and we're going to shake it up real good. Then we're going to do the second bottle, the third bottle, and the fourth bottle. So then I'll be back. Okay, so after successfully putting 1.5 cups of sugar into each bottle, it's now and shaking them up very well, it's now time to add the yeast. So here I have regular Fleischmann's active dry yeast, baker's yeast, that I got at Walmart. All right, and then on the left I have Lavin FC 1118, which is winemaker's yeast. Now, supposedly what I've learned off of YouTube is that the Fleischmann's will produce about 12% alcohol, like a regular Franzia box, and the Lavin will produce approximately 18% alcohol. So I wanted to do 2 bottles of each on this go round, and we'll see how it works out. I'm probably going to end up mixing them anyway, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, so now I'm going to do that step. I'm going to put 2 into the Fleischmann's and 2 into the Lavin. Well, you know what I mean. And we'll see how it works out. I'll be back. Okay, so I did the first 3. Now before I shake this up, in this bottle here, you can see I've added the yeast. So what I've added is, I've added a 1/4 teaspoon, which is the yellow spoon, and 1/8 teaspoon, which is the red spoon. And so that makes it 1/4 and 1/2 teaspoon into each bottle. And now I'm going to shake it up. And now I'm going to shake them all up again, and again. And then I'll show you the final step for each bottle. Okay, now the final step, after you're shaking them up, and I mean shake them up really well, is to loosen the cap just a tad, so that when you squeeze it, the cap does a up and down motion. Now what that allows it to do is, when it's up, the air can escape, and then it falls right back down again, because as the yeast eats up the sugar, it's going to produce CO2, which needs to be able to escape. If it doesn't escape, then your container is going to blow up and you're going to have a big mess. So you want to be able to make it so that the cap can do this little dance every time you squeeze it, and you're good. All right, so on the next video will be 30 days. Today is March the 1st. So on April the 1st, I'll show you how to, what they call racking it with I'm going to use a USB rechargeable siphon, and I'll show you how all that works in 1 month. All right, so in the meantime, stay tuned.